What's up, Sun Rays? Welcome back to the channel. It's Ray. If you're new here, welcome. As you can see by the title, I am going to be doing a wash and go tag. This tag was done, I think, years ago, maybe 6 years ago or more, before I ever even started my YouTube video. So I didn't know about it. I hadn't done it, but I saw What the Kink do it not too long ago, and she challenged some other YouTubers or creators to do the challenge. So I accepted the challenge. So I'm going to do it today. And what she did is she did it when it first started, I think 6 years ago. And then she came back just recently and did it again to see how her answers have changed over those years, or if she does her hair any differently over the span of those years. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it today. And then if I remember, I may come back in a few years and see if anything has changed with me as well. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it based on my answers today. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. And if you're interested, just keep on watching. Okay, so the first question is, what are your holy grail stylers for wash and goes? So for me, my holy grail styler for a wash and go is going to be if I want a fluffy wash and go on day 1, day 2, or whatever, easy, breezy, big, lived in, I am going to go with a softer holding gel. So that would be the Nature's Little Secret Okra Curl Defining Gel. I really like that one for a nice, soft, fluffy wash and go. And I also like the Main Choice Tropical Moringa Gel. That one is really good to give me a big, fluffy wash and go with no crunch. And an honorable mention would be the Curltini. Okay, so those are the ones that I know I can go to get really good results on day 1. If I want a harder holding gel with a lot more definition, then I am going to go with the Jackie's Grapeseed Glossy Curl Jelly, or something like that is what it's called. I also like the African Pride gel, and for something with a little bit better ingredients, I will go with the Alikay Naturals Lemongrass Gel. That one is really hard. You guys don't see me use it quite as much, but I do have some and I'm gonna break it back out. But that one is really hard because unless you get something really good under it, you're gonna have, ramen noodle hair for a while. So for those of you who like 7-day hair, that may be one that you want to try out. So right now, those are the ones that I know that will give me the look that I want. Question number 2 is, what is your holy grail moisturizer under your styler? And that is hard because I have a whole lot of leave-ins that I like, and I have a whole lot of curl milks that I like. But I am going to say, the Nature's Little Secret Avocado Moisture Milk is really good. It has worked with a lot of things for me. Also, the Blueberry Bliss Reparative Leave-In is one that works well. And the Curl Origin Maracuja Hair Milk, that is a really good one as well. So guys, I got so many. These are hard because they're asking for holy grails, and it's like, man, I have a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff works well for me. So it's kind of hard for me to narrow it down, but I'm gonna say those 3 for now. Question number 3 is, do you rake, smooth, shingle, etc. for my wash and goes? So for me, I normally rake my hair for my wash and go. Every once in a while, I will smooth. So sometimes I'll rake and then I'll go in and I'll smooth it as well. So, but if I had to say for sure what I do, it is raking. And then sometimes I'll twirl my ends, but for the most part, I rake. I started out in all I did was rake. I didn't twirl, I didn't shingle, I didn't smooth, I just raked. So yeah, for me, it's raking. Question number 4, how long does your wash and goes usually last? So right now today, my wash and goes can actually last 7 days. I don't go 7 days though. I normally will do my hair between 4 and 5 days. So that question is kind of like, because it's saying how long can it last? For me, I do my hair 4 or 5 days because I don't want a whole lot of shed hairs. The longer you go, the more shed hairs you get, the more tangles you get, etc. So I usually will wash on day 4. Sometimes I'll push it to day 5. If for whatever reason something happens in my schedule and I can't get it done on those days, then I can push it to day 7 and it'll be fine. But I'm going to say day 5 is probably my cutoff. Because this right here is day 4 and look at my hair. Still a whole lot of definition and everything else. I have something to do today, so of course I'm not washing today, but I may actually wash it tomorrow, which will be day 5. But depending on what is on my schedule for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Labor Day, I'm probably not going to wash it tomorrow because I'm going to be out doing stuff. So this wash and go is probably going to actually go to day 6 or day 7. So number 5, how do you preserve your wash and go? So I'm thinking that they're talking about, as I sleep overnight. And again, I do that a couple different ways. The main way that I do it is I will use my lock sock or braid tube. I've shown you guys this. Arm goes all the way through. I've shown you guys that multiple times on my channel, and I just put it on my hair and it just keeps my hair going in this direction, and when I get up I can just fluff it out. I do that because the less pull that I have on my hair, like with banding, I don't get headaches, and the better sleep that I get. So I normally will do a lock sock. If that's not handy, there are times when I'll pull it back and I'll just tie a scarf around it and then put a bonnet on top of that. I've done that before as well. This particular wash and go, all I've been doing is a bonnet. So it is a harder holding wash and go. It still doesn't have any crunch to it, but the curls are really there. They're hanging on. So with this, I can put a bonnet on, get up, fluff it, and I'm okay. But the softer wash and goes, I'm going to probably use my lock sock, or I'm going to pull it back and tie a scarf around it just to keep it going in one direction. So those are the ways that I preserve mine. Number 6, do you get tangles or single strand knots when you do wash and goes? So for me, and I've said this before in multiple videos, you can go back and watch, I don't get a whole lot of tangling in my hair. At 5 days when I go to wash it, are there a few tangles on the ends and everything like that? Yes. Do they come out really easily once the water hits it and I start to finger detangle? Yes. So I am not one who suffers with a whole lot of tangles, but I do get them. I think everybody gets tangles. As far as single strand knots, I do get single strand knots here and there. I don't think it's contributed to the wash and go though. So that's my thought on it. I actually feel like I get less single strand knots and less tangles and less shedding with the wash and go. And I've said that before. I think I get more tangles and more single strand knots with twist outs. People may disagree, but that's me, because if you look at my wash and go, my curl, that's why I twirl my ends to keep them clumped together so they are less likely to split. If you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're clumped together. So it's kind of like a rope. You know what I'm saying? The more threads you have tied together, the stronger the rope is, right? So the same with hair, in my opinion. The more I keep it clumped together, the stronger it is, the less single strand knots I get, the less tangling I get, and things of that sort. So that is what works for me. But when my hair is twisted, it doesn't have that gel on it holding it together. So for me, I feel like I get more shed hairs that get lumped into that loose hair that doesn't have any gel on it. And I feel like it frizzes out more and my ends are just flying away and they're rubbing on everything. So I feel like I get more single strand knots and tangles with my hair stretched versus a wash and go. So to answer your question, yes, I get tangles. Yes, I get single strand knots. Do I attribute them that I get more with a wash and go, no. I think everybody gets them here and there, but mine are not excessive. They're not something that bothers me. They're not something that I can feel constantly in my hair. If I search for them, I may be able to find one. So there you go. Guys, before I move on to the next question, I will say this. That is my hair, and if you have watched me enough, you guys know that my hair is a little bit more coarse and the strands are a little thicker. So with that being said, I think people with fine hair may tend to get more single strand knots than people with thicker strand hair or more coarse hair. That's just my thought on it. So I'm not sure who came up with these questions, but if you're someone who has fine hair, you've tried the whole wash and go thing, you feel like you get a whole lot of tangles and a whole lot of single strand knots, it could be just because that is the nature of your hair. Your hair is a little thinner or finer or less dense or whatever the case may be. So take that into consideration as well. My hair is medium density. It used to be really high density, but as I age, I can tell that my hair is getting, is not as thick as it used to be. I'll say that it's not as thick as it used to be, but I still have a lot of hair, and my strands are a thicker diameter and they're pretty strong. So that may have something to do with it as well. Okay, let's move on. Number 7, does your climate affect how or when you wear wash and goes? For me, I'm going to say no. Now, does my climate, can I tell the difference in my wash and goes based on what my climate is? Yes. But does it stop me from wearing wash and goes? No. So I will wear wash and goes year round. I always have. If you go back to the very beginning of my hair journey, all I did was wash and goes. You didn't hardly see a twist out on my channel. I've now more recently gotten into twist outs because I was accepting some of your combos and I was doing, you know, combinations from you guys who wanted twist outs, and I started doing them more, and then my hair got used to them. So now I'm okay with a twist out and a wash and go. I used to not like twist outs at all. Okay, so I preface that. So for me, I am one who does wash and goes year round. Do I feel like my wash and goes are different in the summer versus the winter? Yes, because of the climate that way. So sometimes in the winter, my wash and goes, depending on what I use, can feel a little bit more drying. They take a little bit longer to dry, you know, things of that sort. In the summer, when it's a little bit humid, my wash and goes stay moisturized a little bit longer, that type of thing. But it doesn't stop me, my climate doesn't stop me from wearing wash and goes. I'll wear wash and goes in winter as well as in the summer and spring and fall. So number 8. What do you use to seal in the moisture, and does this help with decreasing crunch? So I don't, I used to subscribe to the LCO method, the LOC method, where, you know, you're trying to basically seal in moisture, right? I don't subscribe to that anymore. So for me, I don't really use anything to seal in my moisture besides my styler. So what I'm saying is, during my wash day process, I'm getting that moisture in with the shampoo, the deep conditioner, the leave-in. That moisture is in there. And then once I put that leave-in on, I'm topping it with my gel, my mousse, or whatever. So that styler is what I'm using to hold in the moisture that I just put in my hair, if that makes sense. I'm not putting the oil on top to do that. Now, some people will say, okay, well, maybe it's the leave-in that you're using to seal it in or whatever, but I'm not using like an oil to seal that in. So there you go. What I will say is that what I do use as my leave-in can affect the crunch of my gel. So if I'm using a hard holding gel, I'm going to use a thicker leave-in, or I might even go in the winter time with a leave-in and then I put a cream on top of that leave-in, and then a really, really hard-holding gel. I haven't, that's what I used to do, haven't done that in a while. So maybe the cream is what you're thinking would be sealing in the moisture. But right now, all I do is a leave-in and then whatever my styler is. One thing I can say that is if my hair is real crunchy with my gel, if I use the lighter leave-in and the gel is a hard hold gel and my hair is crunchy, then what I will do is scrunch in moisturizer on the outside to decrease the crunch. So if you're wanting to know about decreasing the crunch, that's what I do. But I don't use a sealant outside of my, or on top of my styler. I don't go in with my gel and then put an oil on top to seal it in. To me, a sealer, you're going to seal before you put, if you're going to seal, use an oil or whatever, you're going to do that before your styler, I would think. At least I would. I wouldn't do it after the I wouldn't do it afterwards, at least not for a wash and go. I could see doing that for a twist out, but not a wash and go. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Number 9, do you style your wash and goes on damp or wet hair? I style my wash and goes on wet hair. I always have soaking wet hair. Don't even dry my hair with a towel. So I get out of the shower with soaking wet hair. I dry off my body as much as I can with my hair dripping. I put on my little wrap thing, and then I'll put on my robe, and I'm up here and I'm starting to style. So that's how I do it. With that being said, sometimes your hair will start to dry out in the midst, or my hair will start to dry out in the midst of me doing that. Or if I get dressed first, you know, it'll start to dry out a little bit and my hair may feel a little bit more damp. And at that point, I may use my spray bottle to add water to make it soaking wet. But I prefer to do it on soaking wet hair. I prefer to do it in the shower, and I will do that if I'm not filming. I'll do my whole process in the shower on soaking wet hair. One caveat to that is if I buy something and the product says to use on damp hair, then I may try that depending on what it is. So if it's a consistency that I'm not used to, then I'm probably going to follow the directions, try it on damp hair, see how that works. And a lot of times I'll do side by side. I'll do damp and then I'll do wet just to see if I see a difference. But if it's a consistency of a styler that I'm used to, and I know that I don't have to do it on damp hair, even though it says that I can do it on wet hair and still get a result, I'll still do it on wet hair. So my preference is soaking wet hair, not damp. I feel like you get better definition on soaking wet hair. If you look at your hair when you first wash your hair and it's very clean and the water is in it and you see your curl pattern, basically that's your curl pattern. That's what you want to lock in with your styler. So if you put a towel on your hair and you dry it and then you take the towel off and your hair is a little frizzy and stuff like that, and then you try to style on that, then you're going to have more frizz. Whatever your hair looks like before you put that styler on, that is what you're going to be locking in once you apply the styler. So I like soaking wet hair. Number 10, what advice would you give a new natural about wearing their wash and go? So the advice I would give a new natural about wearing their wash and go is wear it with confidence. Wear it with confidence. Even when it doesn't look the way that you think it should look, even if it doesn't have the curl pattern that you think it should have, you wear it with confidence. That is what I learned, because there were a lot of days that I didn't like my the way it looked in my TWA stage when I was getting used to it. And then when it got to that in-between stage, I really didn't like the length or the way that it looked. But I wore it with confidence. I walked out of the house like I was fly. I put my makeup on, I put my jewelry on, and I walked out of the house. And if I had some frizz or, some curls, but more frizz, and I felt like it was frizzy, I act like that's how I wanted it. And by having that mindset, it makes you get comfortable with your hair, and it also helps other people get comfortable with your hair. Because the thing is, if we're honest, if our hair doesn't look right to us, we walk out of the house and we're worried about what other people think. You know, we want the curls because we want everybody else to say our hair is cute and our hair is pretty and, oh, I love your curls and all that. If you're honest, that's what you're in your new natural. That's what you're looking for. So if you walk out like you're confident and you exude that confidence, other people around you are going to feel that confidence and they're going to see it. If you walk out and you like looking all, hi, girl, don't be looking at my hair. I know you see my hair. Don't be looking at my hair. You saying that stuff, then that's when people are going to be looking at like, yeah, don't look all that good. Don't bring attention to your hair. Walk out, go where you got to go and wear it with confidence. I'll say that. Number 2, I will say, know why you are wearing wash and goes. If you're newly natural, know why you went natural and know why you choose a wash and go over a twist out or over straight natural or whatever the case may be. Okay, that's going to help you. If you're doing wash and goes because you want acceptance from other people, or other people got wash and goes and they're cute and you want yours to look like theirs, that's not the right reason. You need to wear wash and goes. You need to know why, and then you need to stand in that, and you need to accept your wash and go the way that it looks. Okay, because it's not going to look like mine. It's not going to look like Rosie, you know. It's not going to look like Jane or whoever, you know. It's going to look like yours, and it's going to evolve. So I'll say that too. If you're newly natural, depending on if you did a big chop or whatever, your curls are going to evolve. Okay, because mine did. These curls are not the same curls I had when I did my big chop. They have changed shape, you know, because your hair is getting used to being natural. So it's one way, and then as it keeps getting more used to being natural and in its curly state, the curls are going to get more coily. Maybe they may get looser as your hair gets longer. So there's a lot of transition that your hair is going to go through during your wash and goes. So you have to be ready for that. So I'll say that too. Be ready for the different looks and changes that your hair and your wash and go is going to go through before it gets to that sweet spot that you really, really, really enjoy. So I'll say that. There's so much I can say to a new natural, but trying to keep it short, I'll say that. So this video has been long enough, but that was the last question. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I know I kind of went off and on tangents with some of the questions because I wanted to give explanation instead of just answering the question. This is what I would choose. This is what I would do. This is what, you know, because sometimes you'll answer a question and then that sparks more questions for people who are listening. So I tried to kind of give some explanation behind my question. So hopefully it didn't bore you too much and you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and also put a comment in the comment section and let me know if you want me to do this in another couple years to see how it has changed. And I'll know to make a note of that is something that you guys want to see again in the future. Also, let me know the answers to some of these questions in the comment section. If there's one that you really want to answer, one of these questions that you really want to answer it in the comment section. I want to hear from you, and the other people listening and watching this channel may want to hear from you as well, because everybody's journey is different. So people are going to have different answers to these questions. Okay, and I will say this too, any other YouTubers who create natural hair content, if you would like to do this tag, especially if you didn't do it in the past, I would definitely encourage you to do it. So again, I'm going to put that challenge out to some of the other ones who came in even after me, and this may be a new tag for them. Go ahead and do this tag as well. Share it with your audience, and maybe it will help someone. And I want to thank What the Kink for giving me this idea and challenging me to do this tag. So yeah, and that is it, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.